this is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Now, are you looking for a way to bring your family closer together? Do you want to play, bond, and connect with your family in a special way? Well, how about a day of non-stop fun, games, and music? Ask the 3FM Family Fun Day. It's happening on the 9th of August at the breathtaking Shauna Islands in Labadi. It's happening from 9 a.m. all the way through up until 6 p.m. This one is for the mummies, daddies, all the kids, and vibrant family clubs. This is your day to create lasting memories. So whether you're a family of 2, 4, or 10, engage in exciting activities at a promotional package of 500 cedis for a family of 4. So on the 9th of August at Shauna Island, brace yourself and the family for an amusement park vibe with a delicious food area, lots of great music, exciting rides, water splash zones, giant trampolines, and scenic photo spots that will blow the socials. And yes, all of your favorite presenters will be there, live on grounds, bringing the vibes, the sound, and the love. For inquiries and reservations, you call 053 1100 927 or 053 2200 927. Don't just raise kids, create memories. How was the weekend?
Oh, not bad. The most important thing is life as usual. So
absolutely,
once you have life, you basically have everything. So
I'm sure you went to about 2 or 3 funerals.
No, this weekend I didn't go to any funeral.
Okay, that's good. I know when the weekend rolls around, it's all about funeral. If it's not funeral, wedding. If it's not wedding, it's a naming.
No.
Okay, you got some small reprieve this weekend. It's good to see you. Looking forward to your thoughts on our big topics this morning. Let me also say good morning and also a very warm welcome to Honorable David Theophilus Dominic Vondi, MP, Chifu Eti Mokwa, and Member of Parliament's Committee on Information and Communication on. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well.
God is good.
Yeah.
All the time.
Yeah. So we're good.
Fantastic. Do get closer to the microphone for me, please. Fantastic.
This way, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, exactly so. How was the weekend?
Weekend is good.
Okay.
Saturday was my birthday.
Oh, a happy belated birthday to you.
I got my wife and the kids, doing their own thing.
Okay.
Surprises here and there.
Oh,
so
lovely.
It's been nice. I mean, yesterday church activities and, we're back.
We're back again. Another Monday is here, and Mother Ghana has many issues. We'll be sinking our teeth into it. I'm glad the wife and kids were able to do something nice. So hopefully you didn't pay for it. We're always getting accused that even when we do something nice for hubby and daddy, it's still hubby and daddy who is paying for it. I'm sure
this time around, I'm not paying for it.
You by next week you'll pay for it. You reimburse.
Yes.
Absolutely so. Well, high up on the agenda this morning is the issue of entertainment, the cost of entertaining oneself in our dear republic. Now, during the Government Accountability Series, Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation provided some updates. And I'm talking about Honorable Sam George. He gave us a breakdown of his first 6 months as Minister Minister, but also dropped a bombshell, if you will, and this has got to do with DSTV multi-choice. There's an ultimatum on the table, and the Honorable Minister says, come August 7th, unless prices are slashed, fellow Ghanaians, you're going to have to watch your football somewhere else. But don't take my word for it. Let's take a listen to Honorable Sam George on this beat. When we come back in studio, we'll dissect this conversation. It's got a lot of your tongues wagging on social media and beyond. Of course, MultiChoice has hit back saying that they're unable to reduce their prices. They list a litany of reasons why this is so. We'll talk about it. Take a listen.
If the NMC fails to fulfill their mandate of dealing with content, the NCA may be forced, in the interest of public safety and morality, to begin to take licensing action on the basis of unwholesome content that we are seeing. We will not, under the watch of President Mahama, allow what happened under the previous administration, where ritual content drove 10-year-olds to commit murder of their own friend in Kaswa. We call on the NMC to step up its work and do what is right. I know there's a new commission, and I'm urging them to take advantage. We at the NCA and at the ministry are willing and ready to comply and work with them. They need to clamp down on fetish practices and money doubling schemes that are going on TV. That is unwholesome content. And so the NMC is being called to do their work. We will support. If the NMC fails to...
All right, so that's Honorable Sam George on the beats about the NMC and some unwholesome content. But let's also take a listen to what he had to say as far as DSTV is concerned.
Moderation and content governance team to reflect Ghana's value, protect our user rights, and support national regulatory expectations. I'm looking forward to the TikTok partnership with the ministry to provide capacity building for our content creators in the country on how best to monetize that platform for the benefit of Ghanaian content creators. That should happen in Q4 this year. Now, MultiChoice Ghana. I made the announcement that I had directed MultiChoice to be present at the ministry for a meeting. At that meeting, we requested a 30% reduction in pricing for subscribers of MultiChoice Ghana's packages. The meeting addressed public concerns about affordability, value for money, and fairness in service delivery. I made clear the ministry's expectation that pricing structures had to be responsive to Ghana's current economic context. I made a formal request of 30% reduction in the package pricing and gave a deadline of July 21st for a formal response from MultiChoice. On the 21st of July this year, I received a 9-page letter from MultiChoice detailing why they were refusing to reduce their pricing. Their reasons included that the cedi had depreciated in the preceding 8 years by 240%. And they claimed that my request for a reduction on the basis of the appreciation of the cedi was unfounded because, in their words, the appreciation of the Ghanaian cedi over the last 6 months has been a fluke which could not be sustainable. As minister, my fidelity is to the Ghanaian people. I have had to act in the interest of the Ghanaian people. And I believe that the Ghanaian people have been fleeced and exploited for too long. I wrote back to the NCA on Monday and directed the NCA in that letter to suspend the broadcasting license of DSTV effective 7th of August 2025 if they fail to effect a reduction in their bundle prices. I cannot, as minister, serving the Ghanaian people, continue to watch what can best be described as plain stealing happening to the Ghanaian people. In my letter to them, I gave them scenarios from 7 markets that DSTV is operating in. The same content in the premium bouquet that is offered to Ghanaians for $83 equivalent is offered to Nigerians for $29 equivalent. How can anyone explain this price disparity to me? Enough of the mistreatment of the Ghanaian consumer. They either comply with the reduction, because in Nigeria, in the same time frame that they say the Ghanaian cedi has depreciated by 240%, the Nigerian naira has depreciated by 409%. If Nigerians are paying equivalent of $29, DSTV must charge same here in Ghana, or we will suspend their broadcasting license effective 7th of August 2025. The ministry would continue to leverage our public-private and bilateral partnerships to expand digital opportunities, attract investment, and catalyze structural reforms across the ICT sector. In telecom sector restructuring, there's a major realignment underway with Airtel Tigo. We're working closely with the Attorney General's Department to look at the financial viability of Airtel Tigo, and we're currently in negotiations with a number of options on what the way forward with Airtel
92.7
sure in the next
Urban Lifestyle Radio Station.
Announcement.
And you were just there listening to the Minister for Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation during the Government Accountability Series. He says August 7th is the D-Day. Let me go straight to Honorable on this score. And Honorable Sam George uses some very emphatic words. He says the Ghanaian populace is being fleeced, exploited. He describes this as mistreatment, citing the recent strengthening of the city. Now, I just want us to put into context exactly what Honorable Sam George is saying. So I want to know what specific economic or regulatory benchmarks that government is using to determine an appropriate subscription price for DSTV in Ghana beyond the strengthening of the city.
Yeah, good morning to you, and good morning to our cherished listeners and viewers. I'm sure this conversation is very important, you know, and let me commend the Honorable Minister for his efforts in dealing with things like this, because you see, the DSTV, especially multi-choice, their prices are not done in Ghanaian cedis. Okay? They price their services in the United States dollars. And so there cannot be justification that our city deteriorated and the value of our city reduced, even when we're buying $1 at 17 Ghana cedis. There should be no justification whatsoever, you know, to say that it is because of our city that's why they're pricing the services in Ghana discriminately to that of the Nigeria and other part of Africa. Because if you're charging, say, $100 for a particular service, and if my city is, you know, the value of my city reduces to the dollar, you don't have any problem because you're only looking for your dollar.
Right.
Okay, so it doesn't matter how much I had to use my money, how much money I have to use to buy the dollar. All you're expecting is that we pay you in dollars. And so if you use the CD's value, you know, declining and you know, depreciating, then to make a case, I'm sorry, then that's not a case. The Nigerian people have their own issues, like, you know, Honorable Sam George talked about. When our city was doing, you know, more than 200%, you know, depreciation, the Nigerians were doing more than 400 to their naira. So why that wasn't a reason for you to charge more? In any case, like I said, it doesn't matter because your prices are in dollars. So, for example, if you charge $500 and I need about 10,000 Ghana cedis to get $500, that's my business, not your business. I think that they just don't respect the Ghanaian consumers.
You don't think that's too harsh?
Their services. Again, they do not respect the authorities in this country properly, because the response they brought to say that we're not going to reduce it, you know, in itself is disrespectful. I thought that they could say it in a better way. I have 4 accounts of multi-choice. One in my constituency, one in my office here in Accra, my private office here in Accra, and I have 2 in my house. So I do 4 accounts. Some are, compact plus and premium. So we pay a lot of money, at the end of the month, And so for me, I think that we need to crack the whip. We need to be able to demonstrate to them we can live without their services. I go all out for the Minister of Communication, Sam George, and to get them reduce their prices. I mean, there is no justification whatsoever the way they are charging in Ghana. And I think we're the most expensive one that they charge when you look at African countries, So for me, it's a good call. Entertainment should not be too expensive like that. What do we have? We want to watch football.
That's the biggest thing.
That's
People say they want to watch the Premier League, they want to watch Formula One, there are other sporting...
La Liga and stuff like that, the Champions League.
Yes.
That's what we want to watch. It shouldn't be that expensive, especially when clearly your activities in other countries demonstrates that you do not need that much to be able to carry out your services. I mean, so for me, I think there's no justification whatsoever charging that kind of money in this country. I think they would need to sit with the NCA and the minister himself and to iron out things. I believe in encouraging African businesses, especially when it's coming from Africa, but I don't believe in clearly cheating the users of your services. In one country you charge less and the other you charge more. You have no justification whatsoever, and then the reason you're giving are so unfortunately cannot support the fact. And so for me, if they can explain why providing services in Ghana should be more expensive than that of Nigeria, that of any other country in Africa, with the greatest of respect, may make some sense. But if we're using our CD's value to talk about a pricing of a service that you're doing in dollar, then really you're not making any, with the greatest of respect, you're not making any sense to the users of your service. Don't forget that you cannot just live in a vacuum. I mean, you need human beings to patronize your service for you to be in business. And so that language is not business friendly, it's not customerly oriented. And for me, I think that they should be called to order.
I'd like us to put up the response from MultiChoice. So MultiChoice Ghana's response to customers on price increase, where, and Honorable, you say there's no justification. Well, MultiChoice seeks to put forth some justification for why they cannot reduce their pricing. It's a fairly lengthy one, so I'm not sure that we can read it in its entirety, but I want to highlight some of the key things that they have put out in this statement and get your response to these issues one by one. And you say even the tone of this statement, you say it leaves something to be desired. It could have been worded better. All right. If you're watching us on Facebook, you've got that up on the screens, and you can have a read through that as well. Now, in this statement, they talk about, and I'm reading on the third paragraph, they say a significant portion of our content and satellite costs are sourced internationally and paid in foreign currencies. They're talking about FIFA World Cup, 14 European leagues and tournaments. You've got Formula One, there's tennis, there's golf, other forms of sporting activities. I suppose that is seeking to provide some also justification for what they are providing to the Ghanaian populace, premium sporting content. Now, they also say in April 2022, when we last adjusted prices, the Ghana cedi US dollar rate was 7 cedis 54 pesos. Is that what they're trying to say? Well, versus the current rate of 12 cedis 39. And they say it's a 64.4% depreciation during the period. They say since our last increase, fuel prices have increased by some 58.8%. They also talk about electricity tariffs that have increased by some 65.24%. They say our DTT services run from 14 cell sites that significantly use electricity and fuel to power various equipment needed to broadcast our content. They also talk about year-on-year inflation. They're talking about, as of December 2022, it stood at some 54.1% versus April 2022, which was 23.6%. So a lot of different issues come to bear. Now, talk about what they call VAT 15%, NHIL 2.5%, Get Fund Levy 2.5%, COVID Levy 1%, and Communication Service Tax 5%. Now, with all the above considerations, we have had to do an adjustment average of 19%, yet significantly below which is significantly below what is required to cover the increase in our cost operations. With inflation at 54.1%. Okay, so this is dated. What's the date of this one? This is 2023. This is what the justifications were during 2023. So these are some of the issues that DSTV was contending with at that time. Let's fast forward to 3rd August 2025. Again, fairly lengthy one, so we'll skim through that. MultiChoice notes with concern the recent statements made by the Honorable Minister of Communications, Digital Technology and Innovation, Mr. Samuel Nate George, regarding DSTV pricing in Ghana. They go on to say it is regrettable that the Honourable Minister has taken this stance, notwithstanding our ongoing endeavours to engage with the Honourable Minister candidly and in good faith on this important matter. In an effort to arrive at a resolution, we have made a proposal to the Honourable Minister and the National Communications Authority, the NCA, on an alternative further engagement avenue. Having operated in Ghana for 30 plus years, we value our employees, contract staff, dealers, installers, agents, and retailers in Ghana. We are mindful of the dire implications that an impasse may have on you and your livelihoods, and we assure you that we are committed to working together with the Honourable Minister and the NCA to resolve this matter. MultiChoice values its subscribers and endeavors at all times to keep DSTV subscription fees as low as possible, despite the extremely challenging, competitive, and macroeconomic environment in which we operate, without compromising on customer choice and the quality of services we offer. While we appreciate the recent appreciation of the city, which we have never referred to as a fluke, it is not tenable to reduce the DSTV subscription fees in the manner proposed by the Minister. MultiChoice remains committed to constructive engagement with the Honourable Minister and to complying with all applicable laws and regulations in Ghana, and trust that the authorities will do likewise. So this is the recent letter. What I was reading out to you prior to that was some justifications around 2022. You recall when inflation was at an all-time high, 54%, and they cited the reasons for that. Now, we're in a different dispensation, but this is the response of multimedia.
So the point is, MultiChoice does not just oppose their reasons to the other countries in Africa that they operate in. Okay, are we saying that if they are talking about fuel price is the reason they are increasing their prices in Ghana? What is the fuel price in Nigeria? The cost of operation, they pay their subscriptions, in foreign currencies, in dollar, and so forth and so on. In foreign countries that they get the services from, do they pay it in naira into the foreign currencies in Nigeria? So all the factors they are, enumerating are same from one country to the other. And so there's no justification. Again, there is no justification. You're pricing your services in dollars. It doesn't matter how my currency is. What you need to know, or what you need, is to have your dollar. And so, you remember some time ago, you couldn't even pay DSTV in Ghana cedis, you had to pay in dollars.
Indeed.
Yeah, I mean, I started using DSTV for some time now, and until they would have to accept CDs, were paying dollars. Again, they are using dollar rates to charge, and they are charging in dollars. And so for me, that's not tenable. Number one, number two, fuel prices. Are they not buying fuel in any other country apart from Ghana? What are the fuel prices in the other countries? So you just oppose that. Bring the chart, bring reasons and compare them. And let's see what you're saying, whether it's true. Whether or not Nigeria, when services you're giving to Nigerian people, you go to the market and buy it, in Naira and give to the Nigerians, and you buy Ghanaian own in dollar and give to Ghanaian, and reason we have to pay more than them. Let's know. Otherwise, then you're not making any point. Okay? For me, you don't need to open your mouth to say that the gains that we're making in our Ghanaian cedis a fluke for us to know, because your actions...
Their statement says that they didn't say that.
The point is that their actions alone demonstrate that beyond saying it. Okay?
Was the minister harsh in saying that we are being fleeced, mistreated, exploited? I mean, you talk about the statement...
No, he's not being harsh. The minister is just being real. One thing about Sam George, everybody should get, is that Sam don't hide to say what he had to say. I mean, he speaks it the way it's supposed to be spoken. And the truth is that he said it the way it's supposed to be said. And that is the truth. In any case, you and I sitting here, my dear, I mean, can you mention one single justification why things that you are pricing in dollar should cost more dollars in Ghana than that of Nigeria? And all the reasons you put together and you are enumerating, you're talking about, happens here in Ghana, it happens in Africa, it happened in Nigeria. I'm sorry. I believe strongly that we even have a sustainable power, in Ghana more than Nigeria. And so you should spend a lot of money in buying fuel to power generators and so forth and so on to be able to get the services run 24/7 in Nigeria. In Ghana, we have sustainable power. I don't think that electricity bills are more expensive than that of Nigeria. And so there's no really justification whatsoever. I think that, you see, we're partners in all these things. I mean, you are service providers, we are service users, you're making money from us, we're getting services from you. I think it's about sitting down and coming up with some reasonable, explanations and, demonstrating that you are ready to work with the Ghanaian people instead of taking a stand, you're not going to reduce it, and now you feel our city is not sustainable, the gains we're making, and it's a fluke and stuff. I mean, for me, I don't think that is good business, because you see, for me, it is just that they are enjoying monopoly. And that is why they are doing what they are doing.
We're here.
Because if you have a very strong service provider, hitting the Ghanaian market with a more sustainable, serious services, they will drop. They will reduce their prices just because they are enjoying monopoly and they are taking us for a ride. That's all about it.
So they've got 3 days, according to the minister, to get their act together. Now, what is going to be the legal process then for suspending a broadcaster's license in this context? How are you going to be able to do this?
I am sure that the minister knows what he's doing. Let's get there and see how we cross that bridge. Because it's very important that we demonstrate to the people, the multi-choice company, that we are Ghanaians who meant what we say, and we're not joking. I think we need to be treated well. Look at the content issues that we're talking about, Sometimes you watch some of and that is why they have this monopoly, You watch some of the contents that we have in our country, and it's really horrible, and it's very, I mean, for a better want of words. Look, you watch television in Ghana, a Ghanaian television, and what they do 24/7 is lying, telling people you can put whatever it is. Some of them will tell you that you should go and get some pot, cover it with cloth, and shout something, and then you're going to get a lot of money, making it full. You should bring so and so, and money is going to come. Rituals.
You say that's all that our
All
content
these
is
things,
about.
absolutely, and watch our content. I don't know what's happening to our movie filmmakers, I believe strongly that this time around, Jifa is going to really empower them to do, because you see the content that we have, the content is the problem, so you are not able to even depend too much on Ghanaian television. And so you end up going to say, okay, let me look for something else to watch. Let me look for a source of information that you want to deem a little more credible. And then at the end of the day, you end up falling in their hands. And that is the problem we have. We need to up our games in Ghana. NCA would have to up its game. We have to invest in our content and be able to build our television stations and be able to have sustainable, contents that will serve the Ghanaian people. Exactly. Otherwise, we'll have all these people coming in, exploiting us, taking a lot of money from us, which of course they shouldn't be doing. And I don't think it is fair at all to the Ghanaian people.
Honorable, thank you for your take on this. Richard, let me come to you as well and get your initial thoughts. What were you thinking, hearing Honorable Sam George give this ultimatum? Come August 7th, he says, unless prices are slashed, DSTV could face shutdown. I'm asking Honorable what legal legs they'll be standing on, but we'll have to wait until August 7th, and I'll be finding out in due course whether or not there is any fear of legal backlash. What is at the core of this discussion we're having?
Well, first of all, I would like to say good morning to yourself, your entire production team, to Honorable. It's a privilege to be here with him, and to also extend my warm, happy, belated birthday wishes to him.
Thank you.
Yes. And then you see, we live in a country where most of these foreign or international companies, they look at the dynamics of the market in which they operate to take certain decisions. Now, over the years, have we had this uproar of we trying to speak to truth to power to let DSTV understand that you have been exploiting us over the years? We haven't done that. That's never been in the public domain as it is now. So we must first of all, again, congratulate the sitting Minister of Communication for the bold step he's taking to fight for the interest of the people of Ghana. Because once we mandate you or we appoint you into certain positions, you are not there to satisfy your own whims and caprices. You are there for the ultimate interest of the people who you are supposed to serve. Who is he supposed to serve? He's supposed to serve Ghanaians. And like Honorable is saying, you do your pricing in dollar. And if you look at the comparison, I have a chart here, okay? That from Ghana, okay? Right. The premium package, we are doing $82.40. Nigeria is doing $29. Compact Plus.
Bear with me, Richard. Let's hear that again, because the difference is staggering.
Absolutely staggering.
I'm not even done. Look at Compact Plus. Ghana, we are doing $54.30. Nigeria is doing $19.20. Look at the compact. We are doing 36.20. Nigeria is doing 12.40. Family package, we are doing $18.10. Nigeria is doing 4.80. Access, we are doing $9.45. Nigeria is doing $2.70. The basic, or what we call it, the paddy package, we are doing 5.60. Nigeria is doing $1.95. So like he say, all your prices are in dollars. So whether the CD appreciate against the dollar or depreciate against the dollar, that is none of your business.
Now, let me pause you just very quickly, Richard, on that score. And I have seen these comparisons ongoing as well as other countries.
Other countries.
And I think maybe we could juxtapose that against a country that has a population size maybe also similar to us. Let's do that.
Let's forget Nigeria, because certainly. Nigeria has 233 million.
Indeed.
Okay, so let's look at a country like Liberia, which has 5.7 million citizens. The Compact Plus, whilst we are doing $82.40, they are doing $61. Go to Angola, 37.9 million population, okay? just a little bit above Ghana. They are doing 33.0. Go to Botswana, 2.5 million citizens, and they are doing 61. Go to Eswatini, 1.3 million citizens. They are doing 52, whilst we are doing 89.
That means whichever way we slice and dice it, when we compare ourselves, even with populations quite similar to us, the disparity is there.
That is why I'm saying that when you operate in an environment where we've always been sitting quiet and aloof and watching multinational companies milk us dry, that is what they are taking advantage of. And then again, as a country too, these are the things that should be waking us up to understand that. Look at the telecommunication space in Ghana. Do we have any indigenous Ghanaian company that is competing in that telecommunication space? Zero. Look at the digital satellite television space. Do we have indigenous homegrown companies that can give DSTV a run for their money? Zero. So I want to urge the government of the day that in China, there was a deliberate attempt to move the country from a poverty-stinking economy to an appreciable middle-class society, and they did it. So if we are in Ghana, we say, like, oh no, in the oil space, upstream, downstream, we don't have indigenous companies that are participating and becoming a global competitor. We need to identify 10 indigenous Ghanaian companies, capitalize them, give them the exposure, give them everything we can give them to make them competitive enough. Do you think foreign companies will be exploiting us in this country? Look at the telecommunication space. Look at what MTN is doing. And MTN is also a South African company. DSTV is a South African company. And these are companies that are owned by individuals, and most of them are members of the ANC. Okay? So, if we are going to fight this, then we should be making a deliberate effort to equip Ghanaians to participate in major subsectors of the global economy. That is the only way we can say that when we are talking about the telecommunication space and Nigerians are there. Look at Glo. Glo is an indigenous Ghanaian, a Nigerian company. Ghana, do we have any? We don't have. These are the reasons why when the foreign companies come, they see us as, as people who are inward looking. We are only concerned about our bread and butter, so we don't care about what they come to do to our citizens. That is why I am fully in support with Sam Joe, because if we say the cedi appreciation against the dollar is unsustainable, you are simply saying it's a fluke.
So you say it's just semantics if they say we didn't say fluke, but from what you're hearing from them, that's what you decipher.
You can't sustain it. So that means that their expectation is that within the next 1 month, the cedi will start crumbling against the dollar. Okay, and they don't believe in our economy as a Ghanaian economy. Therefore, to them, reducing their prices is not going to be acceptable. What is Sam George saying? Sam George says that reduce it by 30%.
Right.
So if you are of the view that maybe 30% is too much, we can do 20%. Isn't that a good case to make? Or we can do 15%. It's a good case. Maybe we may take it. Half a loaf is always better than what? Nothing. But that will let the Ghanaians understand that the government of the day that we have voted for, they are fighting tooth and nail to represent us in all facets of life. And like we say, the local content is so bad, it's so abysmal. Let me tell you, it's not because I am on Media General platform. It is only Media General that has content that sometimes resonates with the Ghanaian populace. I mean, people who they are in a hurry, so we are going to watch Date Rush. Even though they are all centered around love, marriages, and all these things, but at least it's much more accepted.
Oh, we've got a lot of content. We've got Lady Circle, we've got Confessions, we've got Key Points,
yes.
We've got sports programming, we've got Sports Daily.
Yes, so I'm just praising you
content.
that. I'm only praising you that if you look at content, multiple content that are Ghanaian inclined or Ghanaian oriented, that resonate with vast public consumers of television, it is only Media General that is always triggering something that others are trying to follow. So you see some of the things you did, what do we call it, talented kids and all this, and now you see that many of the television stations in Ghana, whether they lack creative minds or so, they are only doing copy and paste. The same thing somebody do, they run around and go and do it. And because of lack of content, most of them, and lack of solid marketing, they are going after all these ritual contents and they are taking huge sums of money from all these people. And most of our platform has been reduced to preaching platform. Every day and then you tune in here, it's all about preaching. You turn here preaching. At the end of the day, we are not educating the Ghanaian populace much as is supposed to be done. What is the cost of airing an English Premier League? How much do they pay to EPL in order to air their Premier Leagues that we watch here? So if maybe the Ghana television, let's say Media General is a homegrown television platform, and you're also on the digital space. What prevents Ghana government from sitting down with Media General to say that we want to expand your operation, we want to equip you, things that you cannot do within yourself as a small company. We want to partner you so that you can become that cash cow that we are all looking for to give competition to DSTV. But when there is no competition, DSTV will always exploit us. They'll take advantage of the system.
On that score, Richard, if I'm DSTV, if I'm multi-choice, I will say, well, that is your duty as a country, as a government, to provide the environment that allows for local competition to thrive. All of these wonderful suggestions that are being made, if I'm DSTV, I'll say, well, you have not done so as a nation, and I'm here doing my private business.
That's what I'm saying. They are taking advantage of the lapses in that sector. That is why I'm saying that now that the issue is coming to the fore, and like Honorable said, he also admitted to the fact that because of the monopoly they are enjoying, so how can we break the monopoly? And most of the time, indigenous companies or Ghanaian-owned companies, they don't have the capital, they don't have the financial muscle. Assuming they say, Media General, you need about $1 billion in order to operate to reach that threshold. Do you think you can raise it? You may not. So until government says that, we have even look at the state broadcaster itself, Ghana Broadcasting Corporation. How much have we invested into Ghana Broadcasting Corporation over the years? You see, we are becoming our own enemies because we don't do things right. When others take advantage of their situation,
then we start crying.
We turn around to say that they are exploiting us. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Therefore, going forward, it's a good call and it's in the right direction. And like he said, DSTV should not use other operational cost factors. Like we pay electricity bill, we buy fuel. Why? Don't we all buy fuel? Don't Media General buy fuel to operate?
Indeed.
Don't Media General pay salaries? We all pay. At the end of the day, you are operating a pay-for television. So you pay before you do what? You use the service. But then we are having platforms like Media General where you use the service without even doing what? Paying a dime for it. Is that the case? So now, if we want to let DSTV understand that you are exploiting that, it's about empowering ours to get to that threshold. But then again, DSTV must also understand that operating in somebody's country, it has to be a win-win situation for both sides of the divide. You cannot be protecting your interests while the citizens of the country in which you said you have been operating for 30 years, we suffer. So at the end of the day, they should compromise and understand that once there is a relative stability of the cedi against the dollar, whatever the respite is, every citizen of Ghana must enjoy it. It is not that when there is a little bit of depreciation of the cedi against the dollar, you are quick to latch on it and to increase prices. But when there is an average appreciation of the cedi against the dollar, that one you are not ready to give us any respite. That one is about protecting self-interest in business. And protecting self-interest in business does not order well for consumer protection. So what the Honorable Minister is doing is simply about consumer protection. Because at the end of the day, if you are paying for fuel, well, in other jurisdictions they operate, don't they pay taxes? Don't they buy fuel? Don't they pay other operational costs? They do. It is because we have sat down, we have never raised a case against it. That is why now that there is an uproar And we are all supporting the Minister of Communication on this call. That look, go and negotiate with them. Like, even if they can't give us 30%, and even if it is 20 or 15 you can arrive at, we will take it, because in the absence of nothing bad, I say is always what? Good. But then again, my final point on this issue is that DSTV, they have been operating here for 30 years. So then they said they should ask themselves, for the past 30 years, has any government of the day asked them to reduce prices at this level? If none has asked them to reduce prices, and this present government, the reset government, is saying that we care about the citizens more than any other thing, reduce your prices. We are not in a dictatorship era where we can say that we want to shut down you. That one, I am a bit concerned about the shutdown issue.
You are concerned about that?
I'm a bit concerned about that.
You're concerned about legal ramifications and pushback?
Not about the legal ramifications, because as far as we are operating a business, you must operate within the confines of our law. If the law stipulates that there must be a time for you to reduce, because DSTV has never done reduction, they have always been adjusting prices upwards. So at what point will DSTV do a scale down of their prices? So if you have gotten to that stage that we are asking you to scale down your pricing, and you are still giving us all these frivolous excuses that these are the reasons why you cannot do so, the state will also want to demonstrate to you that the power lies within our hand to suspend your operation, so that you can have a clear mind and come back for it to receive. But then we shouldn't create the impression that may also trigger a fear in international companies who may want to come and establish here. That maybe if you are operating in Ghana and they give you some option to reduce prices, and immediately you are not able to do that, they suspend you.
In fact, that's a great point, and I'll throw that to Honorable once you land on that point.
That will also drive away investors, or to shrink investor confidence in the Ghanaian market, whereby maybe it could be talking about nationalizing foreign investment. That maybe DSTV today, we can fight them and say we are nationalizing it. But in this case, perhaps it cannot work. But the issue is that we should judge all. And then DSTV should be the one to compromise and say that if we say 30%, we can do 15, we can do 20, so that the Ghanaians will enjoy the respite. Just like they went to negotiate with the telcos, and they agreed that even though we will not reduce the prices, but at least we will give you an increment in the bundles that you get. If that is the case, so be it. But if not so, then we must let DSTV understand that you operate in our jurisdiction, and it's a sovereign state. Certainly. And we have the right to protect the interests of our citizens. It's a simplicity, just to put it like that.
Richard, thank you so much for that take. I'm trying to find this particular post I found on X, and a certain country actually had a similar issue with multi-choice, and there was a suspension of the services. Was it Malawi? I'll find that and pull that up for you. And given that action, they came back and reduced their tariffs. So definitely what Honorable Sam George is doing has been done before, and in other places it has elicited that kind of response. In fact, they left. Was it Malawi? I'll pull that up. But Honorable, I want to ask you this, because Richard makes a good point about perception on the international market. Is there any fear that this will cause blowback, where international companies think, hey, as for this place there, soon as their city starts flexing muscles, the minister will mount a podium and be giving us ultimatums? Is that a legitimate fear? That's
not a legitimate fear. To allay everybody's fear in Ghana, that's not going to happen. I mean, we've seen it all over the world. Recently, Donald J. Trump is slashing, tariffs on all countries here and there who are entering America with their services and their products. He never stopped any country from coming to America. Okay, you see, they say the taste of a pudding is in the eating. Yeah. If our country is sustainable, everything is fine, like our political environment is really, quiet and sustainable, our economy is doing well, the city's stability is fine, infrastructure is being developed, the big push is pushed properly, and I have no doubts that's going to work, and so forth and so on. Nobody's going to say that we're asking you to charge a reasonable price like you're charging in other African country is going to push anybody out of business. No. No reasonable international organization would want to come to Ghana and would say that in Ghana we expect you to charge reasonably. It's a reason for you to leave the country. And then it means that you don't want to do business with that yourself. So for me, these cannot drive any investor away from Ghana. What we are saying is simple. Look at the comparisons that my brother was making. If you're talking about population, is the reason why you have to charge us more because we have small population? What about places like Liberia,
Angola, Botswana, who are similar to us? But on that score, gentlemen, let me slight tackle you just a little bit. Let me slight tackle you just a little bit, because now when we talked about population, we're being told, well, let's also juxtapose subscriber figures, so that in places like Nigeria, and I know that DSTV is very common in a lot of homes, it appears that on home soil it's like a luxury, so that they don't get a lot of subscribers. How do you situate this?
The point is that
conversation also.
You see, that's exactly what we're talking about. You can make profit in so many ways. You can skin your price by charging high price and target few people. You can make your profit there. You can also descend and penetrate the market with a very low price, reasonable price, and have a lot more people to serve.
So in fact, they could be doing themselves a better service by bringing the price down, so more of us will get on board.
If they do that, if they reduce the prices like we're talking about, number one, they will get the government and the confidence from the government. They will now increase their, subscriber, market. A lot of people will jump into it and buy the DSTV product. And they will have very good customer relation as well. So reducing the prices in this case is not really thinking that we want to take your profit margin away. It's rather in a long term help you to increase your profit margin, because then you get a lot of people coming in to kind of, subscribe rather. And so for me, it will not hurt them anyway. Point is, you are charging too much, fewer people are able to subscribe. Reduce the price, be reasonable with the Ghanaian people, just as you're doing in other, countries. The factors you're talking about, they happen, and we are better off in some of the factors that you are talking about, and you are citing as an excuse. So you can charge reasonably, then you can increase the market share here. So you cannot be talking about market share when in one jurisdiction you reduce the prices and allow a lot more people to make it a homegrown television. Then you come and increase the prices here and make it for the elite people with something, people who can pay, and then you talk about the fact that there's a population issue. No, that's a poor marketing strategy. You don't do that. So point is, you got to reduce the prices and charge us reasonably. And we are not talking about reduce the prices in cities, because your services are not priced in cities. They are priced in dollars. So you cannot be charging one country. Look at that. We're paying about $80-something. Then Nigeria is paying $29. The disparity, the differences, the discrimination in pricing is so vast. You cannot justify that anywhere.
Richard said it's because we've been so relaxed over the years that companies think that we will just sit down and take it.
Again, the fear of losing the little you have. If you talk, they may go, we don't have any competitor. It's one of the reasons why we are where we are.
Right.
Number two, the NCA's failure to crack the ship, to regulate the system in pricing, is another issue we need to look at. So for me, we've been sleeping. Of course, if you've been sleeping for long and the Minister of Communications, Sam George Jatta, is waking you up, you got to wake up. So this is the time. His Excellency John Dramani Mahama's time. We won't allow anybody to take their names for a ride. This is the point we're making. Reduce your prices. You can still reduce your price and still make money by increasing your market share. You rope a lot more people into your market. That's fine. Right. Treat us the way you are treating other people. The Nigerian market is not, I don't think the Nigerians are more African than we are. So treat us the same way. I don't think this one should call you telling us our city. If our city is not sustainable, the gain we're making is not. What do you care about that? Is that your business? We never call you for an advice to strengthen our city anyway. We're only asking you to be reasonable.
Are things getting testy and tense between the ministry and multi-choice, or can conversations continue in a measured and temperate way?
You see, when the lion, is found patronizing the market, people would take the lion to be a big dog. Okay, the DSTV should position itself the way they are internationally acclaimed, nice, beautiful television station, network that we all love to watch. I want to watch a lot of La Liga and Champions League. Let us respect them. They shouldn't reduce themselves into this kind of conversation. It's not good for themselves.
Right.
I think they must build a good, sustainable relationship with government and authorities of this country, respect the Ghanaian people, we'll continue to respect them. And that is what we're asking for. We're not asking for anything more than that.
Thank you for that, Honorable Richard. Let me ask this question now. Has government put some extra pressure on itself to ensure that these macroeconomic indicators that are going so well so far remain the same? Because can you imagine if after all of this conversation, prices are reduced by 20-30% and we start to see maybe the city dancing pan logo like we did in some time past? Has government put a lot of pressure on itself to ensure that the fiscal landscape remains favorable for all?
No, I don't think so. In every economy across the globe, there's no economy that is stable or static. Are you getting the point? Economies rise and they fall. Currencies fluctuate. Inflation and deflation. When we are talking about inflation doesn't mean that there wouldn't be price increases. Inflation simply means the rate at which prices of goods and services increases. Okay? So, if today the cedi is relatively stable against the dollar, the expectation is that we can maintain that for a longer period of time. But nevertheless, the tendency of it going up or going down must always be accommodated. We must make room for such fluctuations. Please, are you with me?
I'm with you.
So government is not putting itself under any form of pressure. Okay? Because even if it stabilizes for 3 months, the respite that comes with it, the citizens must enjoy it. If it goes up again, we pay for it. That is how every civilized jurisdiction runs.
Right.
Like what is making a comparison with what Donald Trump is doing. Donald Trump is saying that a lot of you are producing goods and shipping it to us, and it's weakening the American economy. Therefore, we want to protect indigenous American businesses. So if you produce something from Ghana and you are sending it to us, we'll put an extra 20% tariff on it. If you like, don't bring it. We can produce it within our enclave. Or if you don't bring it, somebody else will do what? Will bring it. That is how countries run. You must be on your feet. That is what makes you a government. That's what makes you a president. So if JDM, the president of the day, whose claim or who promises a reset simply means that we are on the wrong direction as a country. Everybody comes and does what he or she likes. Therefore, going forward, we are not going to countenance that. If you do something and it's not in the ultimate interest of my citizens, I will go after you. That is how we call a leader. So we are fully in support of the decision taken by Sam George. And then again, I will agree with the MP that yes, any serious foreign company who wants to come and invest in a local market, they do their analysis very well. They do what we call the SWOT analysis. Right. After doing the SWOT analysis, they will identify what the opportunities are within the market that they are entering. And they will come regardless of what. That will also put them on their toes. That look, in Ghana, when you go and sometimes things are going good and you don't want to adjust it for the citizens to benefit, the country will come after you. At least they'll be on the right path. But if you just sleep, whoever comes and whatever he wishes is what they do. For 30 good years, DSTV has been operating in this country. This is the first time in my adult life I am here in the public space that the minister is giving them an ultimatum. Now, if you don't reduce your prices, we are going to temporarily seize your or suspend your license until you come back to renegotiate with us things that will be in the ultimate interest of the country. If tomorrow the cedi start to depreciate against the dollar and you want to do an upwards price adjustment, we will support you. It's as simple as ABCD.
Richard, thank you for your views. I think we can park it here on this particular one on the impending suspension if these discussions don't go fruitfully between the minister, or shall I say the ministry, and multi-choice, DSTV. A number of you sending your thoughts through. Do keep them coming across the socials. I want us to talk about Aketia by-election. It's been slated for September 2nd. Now, the Electoral Commission has announced Tuesday, 2nd September 2025 as the date for a by-election in the Aketia constituency of the Eastern region, following the death of the Member of Parliament, Ernest Kumi. Honourable, how has the campaign gone so far? Shall I say, how is it going so far? Today, I believe the primaries will be held. You've got some 3 strong candidates who are vying to be MP in Aketia. Your opponents, they are not letting up at all. They are also in the constituency selling their message. They said, for Ernest Kumi's sake, that's their message. They said, just vote for the NPP. I mean, how many seats does the NDC have now? Let me do it. 184. You have a super majority. And you are still campaigning. You are still in the constituency selling your message.
First of all, my deepest condolences to the families and friends and all the members of Parliament for our big loss. You know, Kumi was a good friend, you know. We happened to serve in the same, you know, committee. Committee of Land and Natural Resources. We serve in the same committee. And I think 5 days before his demise, we were at Dukrum together, the Safari Valley.
Yes.
Difficult mentioning that name. No, we're together to look at, we met all the agencies under our committee, you know. We had a lot of conversation. He's a very calm young man, a very intelligent guy, you know. You like to be his friend, you know. So I was in the United Kingdom, you know, because just after that I left for London.
Right. And
I heard that he was no more. I thought it was a joke.
Because that was fake news.
I mean, you know, I saw it on social media because this is a nice, you know, very well and healthy guy who...
Young guy.
Young man, you know, we were together, we had all the jokes, you know. I mean, we're so fine. And so I don't think that should happen. Unfortunately, the news that I thought and prayed for, that should be fake news, turned out to be, you know, truth. But what can I say? May God keep his soul until we meet again. I mean, we all would travel, but we'll pray that we hit the 90 plus years before, you know. My concern, if you like, which may be a little controversial, is about how the NPP young people are dying, which I pray ceases, because it's becoming one too many. Remember Basoa in Parliament?
Indeed.
Went to a funeral, came back into his room, gone. John Kuma, ETA confirmed, together with Chema, who to me was almost lucky, gone. You know how Yakubu, you know how she died. Bauredu, one fine gentleman, excellent economist. I mean, it's becoming too many. And some of us are beginning to get afraid of them. I just pray and hope that my fears will be allayed, you know, and I pray that we don't think any other thing. Now the elections. How I wish that it never turned this way. Yes, it's true that we have a lot of seats in Parliament, 184. Never happened before, super majority.
Indeed.
You know, it's never happened before. But you see, the very little people left, the fewer seats that are left, the 88 seat or the 87 seats, what have you, that are left, they are also Ghanaians who need better service. So if 184 constituencies are getting better services because they have NDC members of parliament representing them correctly, it doesn't mean the fewer that are left do not need better services too.
Absolutely, we're all Ghanaian.
Exactly. So even if it is one more that is left with the MPP, because they are not getting better representation in parliament, it is important the NDC go for it so they can get better representation in parliament. So the statement that we have too much seats in parliament and that we shouldn't be going for some again, unfortunately, that statement would have been discriminating, and wouldn't want to say that the Ghanaian people, everybody needs good service.
Yes.
The Aketia people need good representation in parliament. Unfortunately, they have a representation that passed. Doesn't mean we should leave them for the MPP to mistreat them.
Why will they be mistreated?
Exactly, because they wouldn't have a credible candidate from the MPP who will be able to represent them in parliament properly. So we needed an NDC who will represent them in parliament and then be able to, in any case, Kumi's death, we all felt the pain. But of course, after that, what else? What else is that the Aketia people needs a very good representation in parliament, and that representation can only happen under the watch of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, an NDC representation. And I know that there was a candidate. For me, I'm biased towards the three of our people who are contesting. I'm biased towards, one of our candidates was there. He was in parliament in the eighth parliament. He was there. He lost the election controversially. And for whatever it is, nature has its own way of dealing with issues, and he's interested in coming. I don't think anybody should even contest him.
But we have two others. Can we get that up on the screen if possible? Take a look at who these three candidates are that are vying for MPship in Aketia. We'll take a look at their profiles.
And that is why I'm telling you that I believe that, what's the name? I've forgotten his name. If we can get it on the screen. I think that we should be able to allow him to contest, because he's been going through all these things, going to court, fighting for the party and, at Aketia. And I believe that people know him very well. He served the people of Aketia successfully. Today we have His Excellency John Dramani Mahama. Of course, that is going to get more closer to him and get very good services for the people of Aketia. I don't think we should worry him. He should be allowed to go contest and win the elections and get Aketia a very good representation. Yes, the MPP may say all the things that because Kumi is gone.
It said you gave them so much pressure. They're on the campaign trail, and I've been, I've got my eyes and ears on the ground. They say you gave him so much pressure, he's no more. So the people in Aketia need to put that mandate.
I think that the MPP would have to allow the young man's spirits to rest in peace. I think that the MPP would want to allow the young man's spirit, my good friend, his spirit should rest in peace. The MPP saying that we gave trouble to Kumi.
A lot of pressure.
Is that what they are saying?
He was in and out of court, and maybe we can also play back some of the campaign trail on the NPP.
Don't worry yourself. Don't worry yourself. Is that what they're saying?
Is that why young MPs are falling down? Because of so much pressure, so much political pressure?
See, listen to me, my dear. Then I'll come there. It's because they're very important, issue to treat. The MPP gave too much horrible, unnecessary, criminal pressure to, Jechi Kwesen. They harassed him. They punished him. They pulled him down. They tried to destroy him. But I love the tenacity, the strength of Jechi Kwesen. So that the more the MPP go low, the man rised high. Even after we had to go for another by-election that he won, they still dragged him to court. This is a man they disturbed, and more than 70 years old man. They pushed up and down, give a lot of pressure. So what are they talking about? In any case, the NDC, as a party, did not go to court. Okay, it was the candidate that he contested with. So what are they talking about? See, this job in general is a very serious pressure job. I mean, remember, you're dealing with your family. Okay, say take your family. I have 4 kids, okay?
Right.
I mean, 2 girls, 2 boys, and my wife.
You're a strong man.
Yeah, and my wife, and my house help. So 2 of my house helps. And even that pressure, you're paying school fees, you are paying, you want to put money on the table for food to be on the table, you are paying electricity bills, you are paying, water bills. By the greatest grace of God, we live in our own house. So you put all those things. How do you even manage that? Now you have about 120,000 people sitting on you in the constituency, where you receive call almost every second, every minute, and most of the calls are asking you to drop some few coins for things to be done. I'm saying that you can only be like some of us who love to serve the people to be able to do that and go through that pressure. But generally, it's a job that you can finish and walk home empty-handed. Because even your salary would have to go serving the people. It is a job that comes with so many pressure that you have oppositions that are on your necks every single minute, every single hour. The little thing you're doing, they criticize you, they bastardize you, and so forth and so on. So it is not a job for the weak, hearted people.
It's a high-pressure job.
I mean, it's a very high pressure. I tell you what, most of the MPs, they take pressure medicine.
I can believe that.
Yes,
every time I engage with members of parliament,
in parliament,
is it the same thing?
And do a survey, the kind of medications that really are consumed in our clinic in parliament. It got to do with pressure, you got to do with sugar, you got to do cholesterol, and this is a pressure job. Okay.
And you want to add more pressure from 184 to 185.
So the point is, the fact is, it's not about adding more pressure. It's about thinking about the Aketia people that just as Trifo Etimokwa have an NDC representation in parliament that is serving them well. The Aketia people need an NDC in parliament to serve them well. That's all about it.
We had it up on the screen. Let's take a look again. All right, so we've got 3 candidates here on the side of the NDC looking to represent the party in Aketia.
Look at the Henry Boachi, right?
Right.
The former member of parliament on the ticket of the NDC, 2024. You see, Henry Boachi was in parliament, and I think that we should go for him.
That's your preferred candidate?
Well, I'm not part of the delegates who will be voting, but for me, he's the gentleman I think that we should go for.
The NDC has received commendation for even going through the process of selecting a candidate out of 3, whereas on the side of the NPP, they've got a candidate already prepared for this particular exercise.
Yes.
Why did you decide to open it up and make it competitive?
And that is good because it tells us who we are. Okay, the 4th Republican democracy we're enjoying now is a baby of the NDC. And that's what it is. But the fact that we open it up does not mean I cannot show my preference anyway. I mean, that's what we call democracy. So for me, the elections in Aketia was avoidable. There was no need. But the point is that the Aketia people needed a very good representation in parliament, which of course can be an NDC representation. And I feel that Henry should be the man representing them in Aketia.
Honorable, thank you for that.
That's what it is, man.
Thank you for that. And Global Info Analytics has some poll out, and they've been in the constituency trying to test the pulse and get a sense of where the pendulum is going to swing. I'll reveal those answers to you. It's fairly close, but I'll let you hazard a guess where it is tilting towards. Richard, let me bring you in on this. Let's talk about security issues beyond the banter between the NDC and the NPP when it comes to the campaign trail. Are you concerned about the state of security come September 2nd, given what we saw during the Ablekuma North rerun in only some 19 polling stations? What I thought was going to be an uneventful day turned out to be quite eventful, given what we saw. Are you worried about clashes? Are you worried about security?
Oh, well, sincerely, I would also like to extend warm condolences to the family of Honorable Ernest Kumi. It is unfortunate a young guy at his prime should just pass on, sleep, and never wake up. It doesn't really make sense. And again, like Honorable is saying, there is a lot of pressure on members of parliament, not they are doing, but if you look at the architecture of Ghanaian politics and the deficit we have incurred in terms of infrastructure and in terms of the poverty that most of the people are engulfed in, not the MPs doing or the governments doing, but naturally, people are just struggling to survive. School fees here, medical bills there, children's there, everything to a constituent. He or she feels that the best person to take my grievances to is my MP. Okay? But the MP too, how much is the MP salary? How much is MP salary? So most of the MPs, they have to work extra hard, pulling resources from left, right, front, center in order to meet some of the demands of their constituents. And we must also speak truth to power that how much is the MP's common fund? MP's common funds that goes to the district assembly's common fund, right. And sometimes the MPs have to fight the district assembly in order to get their share of the MP's fund for basic things that they have to do. So it is a serious business to be a member of parliament in Ghana this day and age. So until we try to deviate from that and let the constituents understand that your MP represents you, not that he has to meet all your bread and butter issues. And MPs are also not responsible for road constructing of school blocks. It is the job of the assembly.
Well, when they come to us, that's what they tell us.
That is what they say. So that's what we must also let them understand, that going forward, they should let their constituents understand that this and that are not my responsibilities. But this is what I am supposed to do for you. So when you give me the mandate to go and represent you, let's limit it at that. But out of benevolence, some of them, they go the extra mile at least to support those who really need it. So on this issue of security in Aketia, I am of the view that we learn from mistakes. I'm sure the Ablekuma North one caught the security apparatus off guard.
In fact, all of us, we were caught off guard. We didn't expect this.
Everybody was caught off guard. Okay, so that one, we can understand what really happened. Unlike that of Ayawaso West Wagon. Ayawaso West Wagon, there was sufficient time. That one was a by-election. Ablekuma North was not a by-election. An election was in dispute, and some polling stations has to be what? Rerun. So that was not a by-election. So we were all caught off guard because everybody felt that since it is just about 19 polling stations and it's not the entire constituency we are running, obviously there should be some level of peace and serenity. But then again, as political animals as we are, people obviously took advantage of certain things and then went for a payback. And that is not the right way to go. But I'm of the view that looking at the backlash that came out of the Ablekuma North election, I am sure IGP Tokonu, this is
Yohonu.
This is his major test case as an IGP. And he must also identify all the NPP people and all the NDC people who are preaching violence. That we are going to Aketia with food for Aketia should be limited to those who are from the constituency. That is my view.
So we shouldn't be seeing some of the big wigs storming there. We shouldn't see all the
big wigs, everybody parading at Aketia. What exactly are you going to do? And these are some of the things that causes the mayhem and the chaos. So those who are not supposed to be in Aketia, please, IGP, identify them and blacklist them. That
Hey, Richard. Blacklist them from going there.
Blacklist them from going there because you see, you must take desperate measures to protect lives and properties. So if, for instance, there are people who are preaching the violence mantra that is going to be a boot for boot in Aketia, and this violence mantra, excuse me to say, it is not coming mainly from the NDC quarters. It is coming from the MPP quarters.
How do you measure that?
Yeah, because we are all in the political space, and
right.
we pick information that are spreading left, right, front, center. And it is they who are seeing it like a test case for them. Because look, let me tell you, the people of Aketia, MPP knows that should they lose that seat, they are in a very difficult situation. That means that their party is sinking further into abyss. Okay?
So they really need to capture this seat.
They really want to prove a point that the way public perception is there, that we are really sinking, and a party in disarray, we are still strong, and we can convince the constituents to give us the mandate. Is
right.
that the case?
Right.
And NDC also, they are going to campaign for the MP on the goodwill and the performance of this present government. Are you getting my point? So for me, the way NPP is carrying themselves around and parading themselves that they have run this country better than what NDC is doing now, they should be prepared for a big loss in Aketia.
You say the NPP will lose?
NPP should be prepared for a big loss in Aketia, because if I'm a constituent in Aketia, I will want to join the winning train. I will want to vote for an MP that will join the majority and bring me development. If I go and vote for an MPP MP who is a one out of the few, what the chances do we have that is going to bring us any relevant development in the constituency?
So for those in the minority, and if you are your MPs in the minority, you shouldn't expect good development, Richard?
No, didn't they themselves preach it? Didn't they themselves preach it? That when your party is in power, that is when the chances of you taking development to your people, they said it themselves. Though when you are not in power, the chances of you because you see, the political players, it is like you do me, I do you. If you are not on our side, there is nothing that will help you to make sure that you develop your constituent, so the next time you'll be able to retain your seat. It's a deliberate approach to weaken everybody and their base. So that when I weaken you, because I am in power, I can weaken you. They said it themselves. Even the last time when we were going for some election, I heard the MP people say that, oh, these people, their party is not in power, so don't vote for them, because if you vote for them, they will not bring any development there to you. It is the same situation that we find ourselves in. Aketia, I will not be surprised if NDC should win that seat. And then again, I'm also of the view that the one who contested in the 2024 election and lost to Enescomi, and even that one was a slim margin. That was what triggered the banter or triggered the log cases against Enescomi. Right. So he stands a greater chance of what? Winning the seat, hands down. And on the area of the security, I want to sincerely appeal to the IGP that he should deploy a major security strategies in order to avert anything. And they should also not be looking for the things should happen, like they should be proactive
and not just reactive. All right.
Because the proactiveness is what will prevent any form of what? Chaos. And then some of the areas in Aketia can also be identified at the hotspots.
Certainly.
So it is the hotspots that they must focus on more, so that there can be 3 layers of security before you break into where the election itself is being undertaken. You meet first layer of security, you meet second layer of security before you get to what? The polling station. So if you're able to do that, we can mitigate it. If not so, if just one layer of security and the task come and they're able to breach that security, chaos at the polling station.
Richard, thank you so much for that. And time check, it is some 6 minutes to the top of the hour. We've come to the end of our discussions on yet another fruitful Monday morning. So soon. They say time flies when you're having fun. Okay. 45 seconds. The clock is ticking.
I just want to entreat all Ghanaians, especially the people of Aketia, to be resolute and to not allow any political individual or group of people to come and destabilize them. This is just an election to elect somebody to go to parliament. I believe the elections must be based on ideas, development that you want, representation that will be meaningful to your development. And so don't allow anybody to come and force you to fight. I don't think that is good for our democracy in Ghana, that by-elections call for a lot of fights here and there. It's condemnable. And I don't think that anybody should entertain it. Aketia must be seen to be a very peaceful by-election.
Thank you so much for that.
There's no need fighting.
Absolutely. Well said. Well said.
Yeah.
And of course, we are your election command center. So come September 2nd, you're going to want to tune into all of our MG channels, and we're going to be serving you all that you need to know as far as the Aketia by-election is concerned. Let me say a very big thank you to Richard Suma, lead member, Movement for Change. We were also joined this morning by Honorable David Theophilus Dominic Vondi, MP, Trifu Etimokwa, and Member of Parliament. He's a member of the Parliament's Committee on Information and Communication. Very fruitful discussions on a number of line items. This is still 3FM Sunrise on 3FM 92.7. Very shortly, we'll be getting into your birthdays.
Get ready.